Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of For the Fan, episode number 154. As always, I am Will, and we got Colton, Dom, and Jake. Gentlemen, hello.
Howdy.
Crazy week in the NFL. We have our Super Bowl teams. We got 3 new head coaches, 2 of whom are first-time guys, so that's going to be interesting to talk about. And a Super Bowl champion heads to Vegas and a whole lot of other stuff. We got one more remaining opening. I got a lot of the big questions going on. We got a whole lot of stuff going on. But gentlemen, early thoughts here. Conference championship Sunday, that's what they call it, or conference championships, whatever. Early thoughts. Thumbs up, thumbs down, in the middle. Or you get the Batista that's just
I was on a plane for most of it, so I really didn't get to watch all that much, unfortunately. I did watch Saquon come out and score 2 touchdowns early, then watch the Bills choke at the end of that game, and that was my Sunday of football. So
my Sunday.
I thought the first game would have been better if Washington didn't fumble the ball 80 million times. And the second game was all that you could imagine it to be. It's a good old-fashioned Chiefs-Bills game with the result of what you knew what was going to happen. But the first game was disappointing because of the turnovers. I mean, how many times are the Commanders going to put the ball on the ground in a big spot?
I think they should change the rules in the offseason for the playoffs so Josh Allen can hold the ball after Mahomes, clock hits 0 in regulation, even though the Bills aren't tied with them. I think they should change that so, Josh Allen gets a chance to have an untimed drive, try to tie the game and win it.
There you go. I like that. I like that joke. The joke, Will. I like that joke.
All right, we're going to break it all down here. You're listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
If you like what you're watching, you can always follow us in the links down below. YouTube For the Fan Network, TikTok, which a lot of you guys are watching on here. Big weekend on TikTok. For the Fan Network, X For the Fan _, and Instagram For the Fan Football. I like how I emphasized it. Football. You ever watch a Christmas Story? A football? What's a football? You guys don't even know the reference. Okay, we're gonna
get
right into it.
He's on top with Santa Claus because he drew a blank on asking for his red rifle BB gun. And Santa goes, "Oh, how about a football?" And he goes, "Yes, a football, yes."
I want a red rifle BB gun.
Then he stops himself mid-line and he goes, "I want a red rifle BB gun." You should try it, kid. And the boot to the face. Come on, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So 3 more head coaches now are hired in the cycle. We have 1 more remaining opening, but we're going to break this all down for right now. So we got 3 new hires. Las Vegas hires Super Bowl champion Pete Carroll after giving up his play calling coaching duties for the whole 2023 season. He goes from Seattle, he goes to Las Vegas on a 3-year deal. 73 years old. He's still teaching his class at USC. And hopefully to change the culture, what the Raiders have been really struggling to change for a very long time. What are your guys' thoughts on a big change here for Las Vegas?
I think that he lives to follow Jim Harbaugh around and make his life miserable. That's his purpose in life.
I will say, this makes the AFC West, the lineup of coaching in the AFC West is absurd when you go from Andy Reid to Jim Harbaugh to Pete Carroll to Sean Payton. That's absurd. Like, the resume across that board is nuts. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. All guys that have had a past elsewhere, and
all guys who have had a past. Yeah, I agree.
What?
All guys that have had a past.
Yes. Definitely all guys that have had a past. Some still
won a championship with either a Super Bowl or a national championship. So a lot of prestige in the AFC West.
Be your second. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I will say, I think it's okay. I think for Raiders, I think this is one of the more stable decisions that could have been made. So like, I kind of think they need that. The Marshawn Lynch thing, hilarious. If you guys saw that, of during Pete Carroll's press conference, just some guy in the back wildly yelling Raiders, and then like,
Calm down, Marshawn.
well, he didn't even know it was Marshawn at all, and then later he's just like walking through the hallway, and Marshawn like comes up next behind him and said hi, and he was like, "You didn't see me yelling," and Pete Carroll was like, "Oh, it was you yelling?" And it was just their relationship hilarious. It's I think, like I said, I think it's the most stable decision the Raiders could have made, which is I think something they need.
And now you got some lingering questions of, hey, maybe Russ might make that move from Pittsburgh to Vegas, because apparently Carroll and Russell have really fixed up that relationship that was really struggling at the end of their days in Seattle. And that might shake up the entire quarterback market, especially for Pittsburgh, potentially for the Browns, the Jets. A lot of people this could really change up on. Another one too, the Jaguars. I know I mentioned last week it looked like Robert Saleh could be the odds-on favorite going to becoming the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then at the 11th hour, they fired Trent Baalke, and then Liam Cohen just went AWOL. No one heard from him, and all of a sudden, poof, he becomes the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before I ask your thoughts, guys, I just have to say, hold on, let me do it. Duval.
Dude. Can we not?
0-17.
I hated it. I get creeped out every time I've heard in the past like 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I get like ugh.
It makes me wildly uncomfortable.
yeah, it does. It makes me extreme. It's like I don't know, dude. I don't like that. I don't like that. Good for them. Fits them. I don't know. It's funny to laugh at, but not a good look.
Hey, man, Nick Sirianni had a really awkward introductory press conference. So, hey, maybe it works out great for Duval.
Or it could just be Adam Gase, where he's just looking aimlessly, and you don't even know what the fuck he's looking at half the time.
It could be great or it could be shit. You have a 50-50 chance on this one. So I guess that's a chance you're worth taking if you are the Jags. By the way, awful decision hiring Pete Carroll if you're the Raiders.
You think so?
I think so. I think
How's
that
that?
would have been more of a job. Pete Carroll going to, I don't know, the Bears or definitely not the Raiders. That is not a quick fix. By the time this team's like off and running, like figuring it out, that like it's gonna be time for him to retire again. Like he's gonna be too old. Like I don't know. I don't think this team made any sense. What's the team? I had the team in my mind the other day. I was talking to my dad.
Cowboys?
Yes, Dallas. Dallas makes a lot more sense. You have Dak, you have Micah, you have a lot of pieces there. CeeDee Lamb. They're not that far away. Just the Raiders makes no sense. Like I get to kind of like settle the franchise down, but like I don't know. I think this is a awful job. If you're asking me, I don't love the move. I think it's silly. I think if it was Dallas, I would be like, okay, I could sign up for it. Vegas, I can't sign up for it. This team's like a mile away. Easily the worst team in their division. Like, and the thing is, they're way too far away from a quarterback again this year. Like, they're a dump. They're screwed going forward. Like, I don't think this is a Pete Carroll job. I think just
They could hire a guy though who's from Pittsburgh, who's played in Pittsburgh last season.
Great, and that's going to get them so far in that division. He's still going to be the fourth worst quarterback in that division. Like, great. We saw how well that went the last 5 weeks in Pittsburgh. Like, I don't know. Like, they need to start fresh. They don't like. I just think it's so silly. I thought Pete Carroll should have went to Dallas. Dallas and Jerry are a joke. Feel bad for the man in Jacksonville. Awful start. Jeez, like, as soon as he like said that, he was like, "Oh boy, like this was an awful decision saying this."
Then he's like, "Oh, I've been watching Trevor Lawrence since high school. Like I saw this freshman come out and he was just slinging this ball. And I'm like, oh man, look at him go." And he's like, "This is what made this job so interesting."
Yeah,
He had a very southern accent, and I was not expecting it from him. But also, he was, I don't know, what, OC at Kentucky. Then he went to the Rams, and then he went back to Kentucky. Then he was the offensive coordinator for the Rams, and then, I don't know, then he ended up in Tampa Bay, which, again, another year in a row they get perched from, their coaching staff, and they become a head coach. So maybe you just got to be the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if you want to become a head coach, just like that. 1 year and boom, you're in. But let's talk about the third one here. The Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones talk about the glory days, or as Jerry Jones calls it, the glory hole days, for whatever damn reason he wants to talk about that. But Brian Schottenheimer, who's been around the league for the last 19 years, offensive coordinator up and down the East Coast and West Coast, goes into Jerry World last year. Well, last couple of years, 3 years, ever since Kellen Moore got fired. He now becomes the head coach, the new heir of the Dallas Cowboys, 10th head coach in Cowboys franchise history. The good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, I don't know where you guys want to look at it for that.
I didn't know he actually said that.
Oh, there's a video of him several times where he talks about glory days, but for some reason he needs to add hole in the middle. Just glory hole days. I don't know why.
You know what the craziest part is? The headlines on Google when you just look up Jerry Jones glory is unreal.
I don't want that on my browser search history, so I'm going to skip on that. I'll double it and give it to the next person.
Oh, dude, I don't.
Yeah, it's not his first time saying it either. Like, not the second.
Oh, there's a lot of times. There's like at least a 2-minute compilation of him talking about that. They're pretty recent, but I don't know. As a Jets fan who's had Schottenheimer as a offensive coordinator, I kind of like the move a little bit. I kind of do miss those glory days of the Jets, but I kind of understand it. You want to make Dak Prescott happy. I don't know how much of a say that Dak Prescott had in the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, but you have to think there has to be at least a decent pull that he had to make sure that this happened.
Well, you know,
got to make the $60 million man happy.
Jerry definitely wanted Kellen Moore. Like, that was definitely Jerry's pick if he had his soul way, I guess. If he didn't want to make Dak happy.
Too late.
And also, you have to think about it as well. The Cowboys also buried this news at 10 p.m. on a Friday night, not between the hours of noon and 3 for, all these time zones. So, obviously, it wasn't his first pick for offensive coordinator, head coach. But, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like the attention-craving Cowboys really wanted this move.
No, like Jerry would never hide a move that he wanted. Like, he's the publicist guy. He loves his face out there. That's probably why he says glory hole, just to get some extra play.
Not one Colton signed up for it today. I can tell you that much. He was not looking for that. But if you want to look ahead, there's one opening. There's one head coaching opening remaining, and that's the New Orleans Saints, who interviewed Mike Kafka, who I forgot what they said he was. He was like the evil something. I'm drawing a blank of what it was, but I could probably find it in a couple seconds. But they interviewed Mike Kafka. Mike McCarthy pulled his name out of there. He says 2026, I'll be there for the head coaching cycle. All those interviews, all tenfold. But Kellen Moore appears to be the odds-on favorite to land this position to becoming the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. And coincidentally, it's always where the Eagles end up playing in the Super Bowl. So I would not be surprised if Kellen Moore gets locked into a small closet somewhere in this Superdome and being refused to leave, whether the result of that matchup there in 11 days. So
can we just keep a staff one time? God, I'm getting like Vietnam flashbacks of Jonathan Gann right now. Like, I swear, like, what the hell? Why does this have to be a thing?
I actually really don't mind that hiring too. Like, I don't think that's a bad hiring.
Who wants to be the Saints coach? Like, Kellen, what are you doing? Like, who wants that job? You have no money to work with. Front office has no money to work with. The talent on the roster sucks. You're going to go from possibly win a Super Bowl and everyone's locked up, so you could go back year after year, or sign yourself to being a buff eater.
Yeah, that cap situation is not great.
And who wants to say that you're not a one and done? Because Dennis Allen is what, 2 years? 3 years?
Should have
Two and
been.
a half?
We said last year should have been out.
Oh no, Dennis Allen was more than that because he didn't have. He's like 3.5 years because Derek Carr was there for those last 2.
That's crazy.
You got all these people on Twitter just being like, "Oh, hey, hire Mike Kafka, hire Mike Kafka."
Please do it.
I just want to find. I'm not gonna find it, but it was a funny quote. It was like, "Oh, look, it's the evil Adam Gaze." That's what it was because it was like the worst photo they could choose of Kafka. But yeah, we got that. I got no injury roundup, so I don't have anything going here because, well, obviously the teams are kind of keeping it on the down low for this week before heading down to New Orleans Sunday night before they land down there.
Well, besides that, there's a high likelihood that Brandon Graham at least is a game time decision as we get closer to the game.
Torn tricep in Los Angeles week 12, so now he has the opportunity to come back in just 8 weeks, just about.
Yeah, after I feel like a few weeks after he got hurt, the whispers were like, "Hey, well, if we make the Super Bowl, they're like kind of like Aiden Hutchinson. Like, if you make the Super Bowl, there's a possibility that he could play." So everyone the last couple of days have been looking for his practice window to be opened. Hasn't happened yet, but
let's go into
when do they got to
Oregon.
submit? Is it Friday before?
For what?
Like, is that like their injury report thing? Friday before Super Bowl?
If they practice, I mean, they usually will put out a practice report, but obviously they'll start like Wednesday and then they'll go through Friday.
we put one out already for today because they didn't practice, so it was all like theoretical. He wasn't on it. He hasn't been activated yet. Eagles
should troll everyone and just put everyone as a ankle injury.
Yep.
Just to mimic Mahomes.
I mean,
that's what Belichick did. That's why you have to like disclose like all like injuries because you put everyone as questionable one game. Belichick has ruined this game, I swear. He didn't make it better, he ruined it for everyone. The hurry up offense. You can't hurry up anymore.
Now he's having North Carolina rip up their whole field.
Declan in the comments here that says 49ers 2026 champs. Maybe on Xbox. I don't know. Well, let's talk about this. Which performance from Championship Sunday stood out to you guys the most? Obviously, 4 teams playing. It's a lot less than the 32 we got to talk about just a month ago. So,
the whole Eagles rushing attack.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Like 7 rushing touchdowns in the game.
They tied the 1940 Chicago Bears record in the NFL championship that year, where they also played the Washington Redskins and won 70-3.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's absurd.
Sammy Baugh, I think, was the quarterback back then. And George Halas was on his like 3rd stint as a head coach of the Bears. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon was absolutely – it's just the sheer fact that we see, like Jonathan Taylor, right? He had a couple of those bad weeks where he did absolutely nothing. Great weeks the rest of the time. Happens. Stuff like that, right? Like, that's almost every running back. You have ups and downs. I feel like Saquon, we just haven't really all season, no matter what, seen a down. Anything that's just gotten even better where he breaks off those big runs. And I watched Belichick say before the Commanders game that, like, let Saquon get 5 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, whatever at a time, but don't let up the gigantic home run plays. And it's like first thing that happens in that game, boom, gone. And it's like, all right, Saquon's doing it again this week. And that just doesn't change ever. So I just think it's the lowest hanging fruit, period. But it's definitely the most notable because, I mean, if you're talking about the Super Bowl, he's just going to need to keep doing that. And as far as I'm concerned, no one's been more consistent about it than he has. So it's a big factor.
I don't even know where I want to go with this one. I would have to say the Chiefs defense, man. Spags plays his best in the playoffs, and I swear he just honestly could scheme up whatever, and it just works out every time for whatever reason. That fourth down play to Kincaid, obviously, all you need was 6 yards. I don't know why Allen needed the urge to throw a ball 25 yards down the field trying to be Superman.
I mean, I hit the
Because
guy
you
in the
got
hand.
blitzed. Because you got blitzed, so you had no shot.
Yeah.
That was just run, and use my arm strength and get the ball down the field.
Guy came in unblocked completely right through the line.
Correct. Called him off guard. What's it called? Right out of the slot.
Yeah.
Slot blitz they usually don't do, and brought the house on him. The whole middle of the field dropped out. The linebackers that roll at the line dropped out, and they brought I don't know who the corner was on a slot blitz and didn't see it coming. It's a great pull. Great pull. Spags, man.
Yeah.
Great defensive coordinator. Not that great head coach, but great defensive coordinator. All right, let's get to this next one here. Let's talk about the big game here, the Super Bowl.
Oh, screw my performance. That's
okay.
all right.
Hey, talk about your performance, Cole. Talk about your performance.
Crazy.
My performance goes to the Walrus himself. That'd be Andy Reid. The guy's an offensive genius. I mean, there's no way of going about it. He's an offensive genius. Who the hell had Shemaze Perine as his the game-winning catch on the game? Pulls a random running back out of his rear end to get the biggest pass of the season. Game on the line, goes to a random third-string running back, and ices the game. Andy Reid, he pulls out the strings, man. The guy knows how to call a football game. That's for sure. So,
that's crazy, actually, that you're saying that and bringing that up, because there have been like 5 games this season that it seems like they only use Najee Perine on the last like 3 plays of the game. And Mahomes throws a screen pass to him. He dropped one a few like midway through the season to ice a game. He dropped one right in his hands. But like Samaje Perine, the only time I've seen him this season is always on the last drive of every Chiefs game. For some reason, it's just like his move. Like Andy, that's his thing. That's like Samaje Perine's only role is to be out there in like the last play and ice the game. So it's kind of funny.
All right, let's talk about the big game here. Super Bowl LIX. Which under the radar Super Bowl storylines are you looking at?
Like
I could bring something that might fly under the radar. I can start if you guys want, if you need a little more time to think.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I think it's the reason you created this headline. I swear to God.
It's 100% not. You think you know me, Dom, and it's the total other way.
No.
AJ Brown.
You got to go back to the 3rd round of the 2020 draft with, I don't know, a pick somewhere in the 70s. The Saints pick a linebacker by the name of Zach Bond. He played out his entire contract with the Saints. And look at him. He returns to New Orleans, this time headed to the Super Bowl. The Saints were only on the doorstep one time in his playing time in New Orleans. So he now gets to go back to the Super Bowl Dome where he played 4 years before getting essentially a veterans minimum contract with the Eagles. So I don't think it's talked about the most. Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Will he win it all? I'm not too sure, but yeah, something to look at there for the Eagles there on that side.
I really thought you were saying this so that someone can say, and I still think you're saying this, so that someone has to say Carson Wentz. I swear to God, that's the whole point of this segment, is because it's like just the dumbest thing, but it's there.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
It's there. Carson Wentz.
Oh, yeah, I already saw it. Oh, the sacrifice says Mahomes gets hurt. Carson Wentz has to win the Super Bowl for the Chiefs. Almost at the Eagles.
Or the Eagles. Hey.
Yeah. He's winning it for someone. He could win it for someone. Essentially, everyone on that field could win it for both teams, if you think about it hard enough.
But, yeah, Carson Wentz being there is definitely funny. Definitely funny. But I watched this whole thing, I might have sent it to you. Well, I don't know, or I don't know, but it was a picture of Andy up close, and like you can kind of see blurry in the background is like Carson Wentz, and they described like former Eagle, Super Bowl, bunch of stuff that.
I think it was CBS, and it was like Andy Reid there, and it's like, boom, Carson Wentz. I think
And
it's
then
a CBS post.
at the end, it was.
You have to slide over, and it's Carson Wentz, just like his face is like plastered right there.
Let's see if I can find it, but it was so funny.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring up the whole Carson Wentz of it all. He's there, and if the Eagles do somehow win, he'd have to watch his backup hoist the trophy while he's in the building for the second time.
It's true.
I mean, under the radar, to like, I don't know what would be under the radar because I'm in it, so they're all like on the radar,
Above the radar.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just want to like bring up the fact that I totally forgot since Juju's there again, how AJ Brown and him were ready to throw hands all off season after the Juju TikTok stuff. So that might get a little interesting.
I like that Juju's now in a different kind of weird
mindset. He's like in a different mindset. It's not like I don't even see his TikToks come up anymore on my For You page.
I'm talking about the Jabril Peppers thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't know if anyone knows about it, but Jabril Peppers just got released or whatever from his court case thing because they found him not guilty or whatever. But the whole thing was that this whole incident about Jabril Peppers being in court in the first place stems from him being with this girl and like hook at this girl, and then her phone is just like ringing a couple times in a row, and he sees it, and it says Juju with like hearts and stuff on it, or like, and so yeah, it's just so funny. It's funny timing too, but it's just what I've seen this week as a Patriots fan.
What about you, Colin? Any under the radar storylines could be looking at?
The greatness of Juju Smith. Now, clearly, it's not, I don't really have an under the radar one. The 3P is fascinating to me. The Saquon Barkley birthday after the incredible season he's had. Ironically, the game falls on his birthday. I don't really know if there's any. I'm not into any of the drama stuff. So nothing Taylor Swift, nothing Travis Kelce.
No Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift collab at halftime.
We all know
after
that
Kendrick performs "Not Like Us" like 1,000 times just to diss Drake the entire time.
Oh, you're terrible.
How about I shift gears here? Okay, let's talk about Super Bowl storylines you are already tired of. 11 days, guys. You're just gonna hear about a lot of these more and more and more. Which one are you already sick of?
I'm going to piggyback off what I just said, and that would be the 3P and Saquon Barkley's birthday being the stories. So I'm going to go off of those two because that's low-hanging fruit.
I got one for you, Colton, then. If you're sick of it being Saquon Barkley's birthday, it's also Cooper DeJean's birthday.
Correct.
And if you think the two ages are, and add them together, it's Super Bowl 59.
That's crazy. Of course.
Damn, you guys are destined to win this thing, huh? No 3P. Not allowed.
Though they lost to Kirk Cousins, so they aren't destined to win it.
That's one I'm sick of. Can we get rid of that one?
Yep, no team that has ever lost to Kirk O'Chains in the during the season has ever gone on to win the Super Bowl in the same season. The 49ers were the team that went the furthest, which was the Super Bowl, but they ended up losing in a very long overtime game.
That's a very random bit of information, by the way.
Hey, it's just the facts. You
Hey,
just got to spit the facts.
No, but also
the Chiefs got it, or the Falcons did not a call that allowed the Chiefs to beat them earlier in the season.
Also, though, for like the last 12 Super Bowls, every team that travels west loses, and the Chiefs travel west. No, sorry.
No, the team that travels east.
Okay. Yeah. So one of these narratives, the Kirk narrative or the West narrative, gets proven wrong. So, no, I'm tired of. You know what I'm really tired of?
I'm tired of all of those kind of dumb shit things.
Yeah, that stuff. I am tired of the meme that Travis Kelce is going to propose to Taylor. I'm over it. I'm tired.
Amen.
He's gonna
Amen.
retire on the 50-yard line. And
Amen.
while Jason's just drinking beer, shirtless in the background.
I'm not. I'm
He's
Dude,
gonna
this
pull
could
out
be the year he
that,
proposed.
like that getup he wore for the Super Bowl. He's gonna come out in the 50-yard line and start giving a speech to everyone.
It really could happen. It really could. And I don't. Come on, man. I just don't want any of it. I'm good.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Colton and Jake. I'm tired of this goddamn birthday talk. Okay, you know whose birthday is also February 9th? Okay, the most important Philadelphian to ever live. He didn't know there was 2 cities in the same state. Charlie fucking Day. Okay, he's the most important Philadelphian in this entire day. Okay, eat a milk steak. I don't know, rat food, cat food. I don't even know what else he does. We piss in cans, Charlie, as what Danny DeVito once said. Okay,
Stickers all the time, dude.
He also forgot to put a tape in. Okay, let's not forget that. All right, I'm very tired of this birthday thing. Let's just only celebrate Charlie Day and Charlie Day only, okay? These two people with their first season in Philadelphia, they earn respect, okay? Charlie's been doing this for like 20 years now. But let's not forget about what happened in the playoffs, okay? Let's go back and look through what was your number one moment from the playoffs? Going back through, obviously, wild card weekend. They don't call it Super anymore. The divisional round, conference championships.
Oh, the ending of the Rams game for me. The Saquon Barkley run and then the stop late after they were driving down. Like, you don't go from oh, we got this to complete just soul drain to again, oh, we won. Like, I was losing my mind when Saquon is running down the field thinking it's over. You immediately clinch back up less than a minute later.
I really don't know for me, man. My favorite moment is Lad McConkey's touchdown. But, like, that's just random as hell.
Holding the rookie record for single game yards by a receiver.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that catch
Yeah.
was so epic. And, like, right, that was cool. Like, I loved that. But other than that, I got nothing. I don't know.
My number one moment is the Mark Andrews dropped 2-point conversion. I've enjoyed the Ravens' failure again. And it's not because I'm pissed because they beat the Steelers to get there. Like, everyone knew they were winning against the Steelers. Steelers went in flat, so I don't want to hear that. It's just a fact that the Ravens continue to have playoff problems, and they have a Lamar Jackson problem. That's my number one moment. Shout out Saquon Barkley, by the way. First play tutty. NFC Championship game. Guy's very good at football.
I was in the Taco Bell drive-thru when that happened. If you want an interesting fact there.
By the way, like, that's what's crazy. Like, we all know Kansas City is going to do everything they can to stop him. But the problem is he's different from, like, any other back. If he gets slight real estate of daylight, he's gone. And you're not catching him. Like, that's the thing with him. Like, I got it. Like, they're going to load the box. Chris Jones is a stud. Like, we know how good their front is. But, like, they're going to – like, if Barkley gets one run where there's any slight hole, he's gone. And the thing is, that can come in the beginning of the game to set the tone, or it can come at the end of the game to win you the game. Like, that's the thing with Saquon Barkley that makes him special. And, yeah, it's a shame that it's his birthday on the day because they're just not going to shut up about it. But, man, what a sign for the Eagles. Like, it might go down as one of the best free agent pickups, honestly. Like, outside of any of the quarterbacks, like Peyton Manning, Brady, like, that might go down as, like, the best free agent. I know it's, like, recency bias. Like, oh, like, you can go back and look at a bunch of other guys. Like, recency bias, like, this is one incredible signing for the Eagles.
Yeah.
The funny thing about Saquon's season, though, is, like, the more they stack the box with, like, 9 guys to try and sell out to stop him, the more likely that he breaks a run.
Correct. Correct. That's the thing. And if no one's in their right spot and there's slight daylight, he's gone. That's what's, like, terrifying with him.
Because the Rams,
Where it's
they went
he's
all
fast
out
enough,
with
like
9-man
where
boxes and just got decimated both games.
yeah, he's fast enough where like if there's any like and the movement speed is so fast. It's not like Derrick Henry's movement speed isn't fast. It's once he gets the legs going, like he's gone. Like see you later. But like if there's any slight clog in the hole or something, like good luck. Where Barkley could bounce it, and he's gone. It's that fast. So I thought that should have been the player the Ravens signed. I know we saw how good Derrick Henry was for the Ravens, not taking anything away. I thought the Ravens needed that kind of like check down guy that Barkley could be out of the backfield catching the ball. Like, I mean, we've seen the catches first game of the season as against the Packers, that catch from Barkley. Like, he's that good. I thought the Ravens should have signed him. And again, not to take any shots at the Ravens, like Lamar and Derrick Henry was disgusting to watch. But like Barkley's just that different, especially out of the backfield catching the football, that I thought the Ravens really needed. And you've seen it with Philly. I get he hasn't caught a ton of passes, but it's the fact that it's there and he can do it at any moment.
In the last 18 playoff games for the Chiefs, they have not let up a 100-yard rusher.
Wow.
They're very good. Like the thing is, the Chiefs, you probably couldn't name me 6 players on that team, which is why I always go back to having the right coordinator. And the thing is, Spags is never afraid to send the house, and he does, and it always works. Where, again, you could probably name a bunch of players on the Steelers defense. They're highly paid. You couldn't tell me who their fucking coordinator is. Like, it all comes down to coaching in this league. It really does.
I don't have any more football questions here, but I want to talk about the weather outside. It's cold. It's winter. It's the middle of January, okay? What are your guys' thoughts on this 3-team trade in the NHL between the Avalanche, the Hurricanes, the Blackhawks, where you saw Taylor Hall, Mikko Rantanen go to Carolina with another prospect, and then you have all these other guys go away. You have Martin Necas. You have a bunch of other guys. Okay, you guys don't want to talk anymore. I see. Okay, I say I wanted to bring in something that was different. It was fun, and you guys all just wanted to bail on me. Okay. But here, what are you guys' thoughts on this? And, well, obviously, and what could be next year for the NHL?
My only thoughts is that Chicago should fold.
Idiotic. That is one of the worst trades.
Are you sure it's not Vancouver? Because Vancouver could have Rantanen and somehow.
Chicago needs to fold because I will tell you this. So the GM of the Blackhawks did not know what player he was retaining the salary on until the deal was done. So he traded away Taylor Hall for a third and then retained salary on a guy, Mikko Rantanen, without knowing who the hell it was. We had no idea how much money he was bringing in or how much his leverage on the situation actually mattered.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's one of the most idiotic I've ever heard.
It's literal GM malpractice.
And it's just, I don't know, dude. The Blackhawks suck. Colorado, I don't really like. It's a move they needed to make. Whatever. Colorado is like the most neutral position during this trade. Doesn't matter. This is like the Hurricanes thing. They do this. They're like, hey, and the freaking GM or whatever came out and was like, until we have the best 20 players in the league on our roster, I'm going to make trades. Like, all right, dude, cool. But, yeah, no. And the best part about the Blackhawks is the 3rd round pick that they got was their 3rd round pick that they previously traded away. So, ultimately, they really didn't do anything. And then they retained all that money. Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, obviously, me and Jake have a lot of knowledge in the hockey world. But, like, this was, when it was happening, it was fun. Because Jason was breaking this down for me and Jake. When it was happening, our friend Jason, and he was like being misled in a couple different directions, and it was kind of funny when it was happening. But after it's all said and done, good for the Hurricanes short term, whatever. It's not going to do anything. Colorado, they loosen up some money so that they can sign dudes they already have and fill the cap room, whatever. And then the Blackhawks suck. That's it. It's not that exciting of a 3-team trade, to be honest. But it was one. And it does happen in hockey like every year or two.
Yep, but like Kyle Davidson's work here is Chuck Fletcher level of malpractice. Should be on the spot.
The homies hate Chuck Fletcher.
All the homies hate Chuck Fletcher. I mean, since we're talking hockey, the Flyers continue the F Josh Harris week of Philadelphia. Just beat the Devils the other day and play them again tonight. So just get to really hopefully rub it in Josh Harris's face completely.
Hey man, you're beating up a broken Devils team. Relax. No Heischer, no Markstrom.
I don't
Relax.
care. It's not about y'all, Josh Harris. I could give a crap like that if the Devils or not. It just
I'll say relax. Relax about the Devils. Calm down. Calm down.
Do you guys think Sidney Crosby gets traded?
No.
No.
Three unanimous no's. Like that was just like no hesitation.
All right.
That's
Just trying to keep the conversation going.
all right.
But here we go. We only have 2 more segments left. Obviously, there's 1 or 2 games here. Pick your choice. Top game from Championship Sunday.
All righty. Well, everybody but Jake should have one choice here, and it should be pretty simple. I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit of the best game to watch that you didn't have to leave in the third quarter, and that would be the Bills and Chiefs, of course.
Are you calling out Josh Harris or Josh Hart? No, Josh Hart of the Knicks. He went down to Philadelphia to watch the Commanders, and he left right after halftime or the third quarter. Jalen Brunson posted his location, him going back over the Walt Whitman Bridge, and it was the funniest thing I could have ever seen.
That is.
He's
funny.
like, dude, he's just dropping his location live. Anyone can just find him.
The dynamic duo of Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson is unmatched. Bunch of memers on that Knicks team and those Villanova Wildcats. Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, wasn't pretty. It's unfortunate. It would have been a very good game because they were actually going up and down the field on them. They just had awful turnovers. And then you go down the field the first drive going for it on 4th down every single time, and then you're 4th and 2 and you don't go for it. I understand part of it is you don't go all the way down the field going for it on 4th down and get no points. Because then if Philly goes down and scores, which, again, they did on the first play, if they go down and score and it's 7-zip and you had that whole drive and you got nothing, I got it. But, you went for it the whole time. What are you doing? And the fumbles. It's just rather unfortunate. I think it actually would have been a good game, but you cannot turn the ball over in the playoffs. Look, every team has lost with the turnover battle in the playoffs. You cannot turn the football over and expect to win the game. They just did not.
It wasn't even the worst turnover game for them versus the Eagles. They had 10 turnovers total over the 3 games. It was what? It was 1, 2, and then 5, and then 3. Whatever.
They're killers, man. You just cannot turn the ball over. I mean, look at the Ravens game against Buffalo. They probably should have won the game. They just had 80 million turnovers. You cannot turn the football over in meaningful football in the cold and get away with it. Just cannot. Just cannot.
My top game is the Eagles and the Commanders, but only because Frankie Louvu decided to jump over the pile 3 times, and I was laughing harder every time they did it.
I wish they gave them the points.
Same.
I would have loved that.
I do too, because I want to know how they would score it. Who gets a touchdown?
Oh yeah.
Oh, bro, that'd be so wild. Imagine sitting there. What was that? Jalen Hurts' 2nd touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. You're a sports bettor, and you have Jalen Hurts on two touchdown scores of the game, and they take it away. They just give it to that is incredible.
Do they give it to the center? Because he's the only one that touches the ball?
I don't know.
How does that work?
Kyle Brandt did a thing. The only other time this has been called in football history was in
the 1954 Cotton Bowl, some guy came off the sideline and cold cocked some guy.
Yeah, he was
he just came out and just hit sticked him. Oh my god. He gave that guy the angry run of the award this week because he's oh, that's the only other time this ever happened, and he just gave it to him.
That's wild.
He just came off the sideline, just bam,
and because it was already going to be his touchdown. But like, who would you do it when they didn't even snap the ball? They wouldn't
Yeah.
have snapped the ball.
Yeah, I really don't know who they. It's kind of wild, man.
But like at that point, like how many more times can you say half the distance to the goal when you're already like
Yeah.
3 inches from the goal line?
No,
You pull out
100%.
does Gene Steratore come out with the index card and like make sure there's enough room between the nose of the football and the goal line there?
If it was Gene Steratore and put the index card down, he'd get space and then still say it's in the end zone.
All right, so we're gonna shift into here. Last segment of the day here: buy, sell, and hold. Here for Championship Sunday. I'm gonna remember where everyone picked and all that stuff, just so then I'm not repeating myself. But yes, whoever wants to start here, the floor is yours. For
Should we just do each of us buy, sell, hold, like undo their sequence?
yeah, sure.
Let's do that. I'll just go first then. My buy is Saquon. Everything I said earlier, just the fact that and everything like Colton said, where it's just like he is a different breed, where everything's been consistent and like he's broken off these huge runs week after week. There hasn't been a question. My sell is the Duval dude. I wrote that
Liam
down
Cohen.
before Will even said it. I was like, I'm mentioning this. It's worth mentioning. I even wrote.
Can you do it? Can you just do it really quick here? Can you just do it?
No, I
Done it. Come on, just do it.
You gotta do it.
Please.
I would
You
creep
gotta do it.
You have to do it now.
myself
You gotta do it. Come on.
You paint
Come
yourself
on.
in the corner. Go ahead.
out.
Come on. You're doing the eyebrow thing. Come on, you got the Rizzler going. You need to get the Liam Cohen going.
No, well, okay. I'll preface it by saying I did, in parentheses, also right next to it, in the weirdest, creepiest voice. So I guess I have to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
And the head thing makes it so much worse.
You gotta
like, dude,
you gotta do it.
oh, and I'm like, bro, nah, I can't. I creep myself out. I don't like that. I'm cutting that from Will's. Will's not posting that on YouTube.
Thank God the internet's forever.
I
We
don't-
get to we get to clip that for.
Put it side by side to his. Okay, Colton did it, and Will's done it so far. So we'll make Jake
What
do
if-
it next week.
Absolutely not.
And then what about your hold here?
I don't got a hold. I don't know what to hold, bro. I don't have any
He's
hold.
got to hold the Duval till next week.
Yeah.
Or was it the Duval?
Dom's actually ordered a Jackson DeVille like mascot thing to go next to his Patriots thing. He's like so amped. He's like Mac Jones starting quarterback 2025. Let's go. Run it back.
I guess
My buy seller holds. I'm buying Jaden Daniels. The guy is the real deal. Gonna hold on Josh Allen. I feel bad for the guy. I do. Like I got the weapons aren't great there. What he was working with. I also understand that they just don't like using Amari Cooper. And my sell, Sean McDermott. My man, it's time. You can't beat Andy Reid. You can't get over beating the Chiefs. My sell is definitely on Sean McDermott, which is weird because I hold on to Josh Allen, but selling on McDermott. So I think it's time for Buffalo to bring in an offensive-minded guy. I think it only gets you so far with something like this with McDermott. They got to go out in free agency and get him a legitimate weapon. I got that he had a hell of a season this year. Without the number one guy in Stephon Diggs, where it's not like he was forced to go there every single time. But, like, they got to get him a legitimate weapon. Shakir's fun and all. They got to get him a legit number one. So I think it's time for McDermott to go. And I'm selling in the Commanders' fumbles. Why the hell did you have to ruin my Sunday early window by fumbling the football 80 million times? There's my two sells.
I didn't know how to spell McDermott, so I just put McDumbass, which is basically close enough.
The same thing. It's the same thing. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
So
All right, Jake, here we go.
I'm gonna also buy Jaden Daniels. The kid's real. Get him some. I mean, Scary Terry's cool and all, but you got to get him some real help. That the only real thing that Terry had the whole game was that one play from the right side on Slay. Other than that, he was put in a box again. But the kid's got a bright future, and as a rookie to be doing all that, it's incredibly impressive. My sell is Dan Quinn solely for that game because they had that drive where he went for it on 4th downs and was effective at all of it. Like every time he was close enough to get an easy pitch and catch with Zach Ertz, and it was working. It worked all game. A quick game with Ertz, but he started to go away from it. He didn't continue. He didn't keep his foot on the gas as he had all season, and he kind of like we finally made him punt on a situation where I kind of thought he'll go for it, just because of like the situation of the game. And I'll sprinkle in Frankie Luvu because you're a joke, bud.
I miss him on the Jets.
My whole though is it's an interesting one. I'm gonna hold Vic Fangio because apparently he has never beaten Patrick Mahomes, and obviously 2 years ago, Jonathan Gannon, who was a Vic Fangio disciple, absolutely dog walked, had no answers for the Chiefs offense, and we literally had half of a semblance of defense. That first one, we probably win. I want to see what Vic, as the grandfather of this whole defensive system, can do, actually making the adjustments with this defense to hopefully keep Mahomes and I guess really just Kelsey, because that's where the safety valve, whenever they really need a play, goes to, and keep him in check. Because it just needs that one win versus them. It's all I care about. It just needs that one win.
Yeah, Super Bowl is going to be interesting, man. The Chiefs have gotten like a lot healthier at receiver now. Where like the beginning of the season, it was like, okay, yeah, this is the Chiefs. They suck. Pick them off. Like pick the Chiefs off. And you couldn't. Now they're actually healthy. They got Brown back, D-Hop, Juju, Worthy, Kelsey. Like they're loaded up now at wideout. Like, man, this is gonna be a fun game. That's a good hold there.
Yeah, I do like that.
I got 3 buys here. I'm gonna buy in the Jaden. I don't have to talk anymore. You guys already talked about him enough. Maryland basketball. These guys pulled me back in again. Someone donated $10 million just for the program. They pulled me back in again. Big win in Illinois. They blew them out in Illinois, Indiana. Oh, they had nothing to answer for Maryland and Indiana. Tonight's the Gold Rush. They're storming the court. Okay, not the first time something's getting stormed in Maryland. And then I'm gonna buy into Indianapolis because I'll be going there this weekend. I'm pretty excited there. Hold, not available. I got nothing there. I got 2 sells. One, the Pro Bowl. I'm tired of these people that are healthy that could play in it. They just like call out Baker Mayfield, just dipped last second, and Baker Mayfield slides in.
True story. This was brought up to me yesterday, and I looked it up. Jalen has never participated in a Pro Bowl.
He was either a rookie, terrible, and then 2, he says, "Oh, look at me, I'm dating Haley Seinfeld. Oh, I got to spend all my time with Haley Seinfeld." This and that. And then my other sell is Colton. I think he's been gaslighting me for the last couple months here, at least going back to last year. I sent him on January 20th a pizza review by Dave Portnoy. It was of Wawa. And I told him I promised I never had it. And he only tried a personal pizza. And Colton says he should have got a full pizza, not a personal one. It's totally different. Hey, Colton, how do you know it's different between the personal pizza and a full pizza? I need to know these answers right now. I'm not getting gaslit anymore by you.
Well, after a concert, people in the back of my car as I was driving had a personal pizza. I was like, oh, that doesn't look swell. And then I may or may not have. You'll never know. I've seen the regular pie. I couldn't tell you if it had a slice or not. But yeah, I've seen it. It's totally different. I'm watching them eat. I'm like, Portnoy. I've seen both in action. Yeah, personal, awful decision. You want to get a regular pie? Yeah, I've heard my friends dabble in it and said it's like Domino's. You should have had that instead.
This is a deep-rooted callback from Will. I know for a fact Will, no matter how this segment went, was going to save that for last. There's no way he was not going to say that for last.
I was gonna do it last week, and then I completely forgot about it. And then it came back up to. I've remembered. I'm like, oh, I didn't sell on them last week. I got to do it now. Makes quality conversations here. And speaking of quality conversations, this is the end of our show. You can follow us on all the platforms down below: YouTube for the Fan Network, TikTok for the Fan Network, X for the Fan _, and Instagram for the Fan Football. Next Wednesday, in season finale. I know we do a couple little shows here and there, a little dabble throughout the free agency period, draft, a whole that stuff. But yeah, next week, the whole last shebang, 30 weeks, essentially. We have done shows all the way back from July, doing previews of all the divisions. 7 weeks of there. Then we go into the last, 20? Well, next week it'll be 22 weeks of regular season stuff. So yeah, almost 30 episodes we've done. So gentlemen, great work. Awesome. Not a damn thing back to me. That's what I like. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, you can tune in next week. The season finale, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern on all of our platforms. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. See you all later.
Will
Will sucks.